This particular lesson is going to go over how to format your table. Now, if you ever download publicly available data, particularly from the government, or you have data that you have kept in a spreadsheet yourself or a coworker's given you, or sometimes your boss just hands you, it is probably incomplete and not formatted to the best of its ability or capacity. So what this is going to focus on today is how to clean up the data table, right? Not necessarily adding new data or overhauling it or putting it in a pivot table, but really just making it easier to look at and understand in just a few seconds. The best data visualizations are put together in a way that you can easily understand in 2 to 3 seconds, right? You get the gist, you can go a little bit deeper, but ultimately it's pretty intuitive. So that's what we're going to focus on today. Before we go through each of the activities we have here, take a second and like and subscribe to make sure you get future updates. Some people use Excel every single day and they go into very advanced levels. Some people use it intermittently and so it's more intermediate. And some people just kind of want to check in and have a refresher. Wherever you are on that spectrum, just make sure you subscribe so you can get updates because future content will cover all 3 of those different categories. With that, let's hop in and take a look at our specific data table, which is looking at a fake hotel chain. One of the first things I noticed about this is the column formatting. And while you can see some of the names at the beginning, and in some cases, with fellow Kuti, you can see the full name. You cannot see that for all the categories. So a simple fix for this is to click and then just drag all the way across the columns that you want to change. And if you click between any of the letters in Excel, quick double click, you'll see it automatically fits these columns so that everything is visible. Just to go back again so you can see it. So just double click and now all of your data is visible. All right, so that's the first thing. We want to make sure that we can see our actual data there. And the next thing we're going to do is name the table. If you are not putting your spreadsheet in something like Tableau or Power BI or Domo, for example, all of those can work through headers, naming in the table. It's not ideal. It can really confuse those different platforms, and frankly, it's not the best way to share your data out. So if this is something that's going to only work within your team or that you're keeping for yourself, naming the table is a really good idea. Not necessarily because you're going to forget it, but just because it's cleaner for the design standpoint and also for formatting. So I'm just going to right click and select insert. So we're going to add a row here. And then we're going to select the rows where we want to add this eventually. But let's name it first. So we'll just use the name that we have down here in the worksheet tab, hotel bookings, keeping it simple. And as you saw I was doing before is highlighting the other cells that we want to impact with this. So one of my favorite formatting tricks is to use merge and center. Another way to do this is to highlight all the cells again, and right click, then go to format cells, and then it's much simpler to just go up here, click merge and center. Boom, done. All right, so now we have this merged and center, the top row. Let's add a light blue background here and pump up the font size so it sticks out to you. It's the actual title. And the last thing I want to do is I noticed down here, this is a navy blue background. It's a little different. It doesn't pop as much, but the text is in white. So let's change the text up here so it's in white as well. And then you'll have that consistency from an aesthetic design standpoint. All right, so we have completed activity number 1, which is formatting the columns and naming the table. So the next thing we want to do is sort dates. Now you might be saying like, well, there's the most recent date here. So why don't we just leave it as is? If you were doing any kind of analysis, you probably want to flip this around. And so a simple way to do that is select the cell in the column that you want to change. So if it was here, obviously we're changing dates, so we're going to click in the date column. And then you just go up here and select the oldest date. So remember, the oldest date, so the first one that appeared, is going to be in chronological order, right? So that'll be like 1 if you were counting, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. The first month of the year is January, not February. So it's going to be the oldest, not the newest. Might not seem intuitive, but that's the way Excel works. So we have our arrival dates organized, right? You can see it goes from 1, counting all the way up to 12, the 12th of January, the 20th, etc. And you can see it ends with the 9th of February, which is exactly what we want. So we've sorted our dates. It's great. So we're counting up from here. Another quick note on that, when you're adding additional data, right, for bookings, in this case for a hotel, or let's say you're working with a government data set or something else that's going to be regularly updated, it's just easier to add new data down here instead of having to go all the way up here, insert all the additional cells that you want. It's just a pain. So that's another advantage of sorting dates in chronological order, as opposed to reverse chronological, which we've put February 1st. Anyway, so what's the best category for your data? So you'll notice over here that there's no data here. We're missing data, which we'll get down to over here. But before we get there, you want to figure out the best category for your data. Now, thankfully, this is selected as currency, which it should. The default for Excel in general is general. So just to show you the difference, we'll put the number 2 here. There's no currency here. If you were looking at total cost, you would want to know that. In addition, there are no decimal points. So it's just the number 2 hanging out there. Now you can go over here and then add decimal points. It's another step, and frankly, you don't need to do that. So formatting your cells correctly is incredibly important because it just saves you time in formatting. And whoever ends up looking at this afterwards, who is not you, will appreciate it greatly. So just a quick note on that you want to have, if you're talking about currency or looking at currency, you want to have that listed. All right, so it's the accounting number function. So that's the best category, and then we can just go across to make sure these are correct, right? So we have general here for Deborah. We have the date correctly listed. Regions, that's general. That could also be text. Truth be told, there's not a huge difference in terms of how Excel reads that. General is fine for most categories. We have length of stay here as well. And just to see here, put the number 2 there. So you can see a difference between if you had number versus general. For our purposes, we're going to do pretty simple multiplication in the next section. So I wouldn't be too worried about what these are as long as it's not text, right? Because take one number, multiply against another number to get the total. So now you know the best category for your data, particularly with this example data set. So let's talk about multiplication. So if you haven't seen the previous tutorials, Excel is pretty simple when it comes to the formula setup. If you want to add something, let's say find a total, right? Total revenue for something like this, then you would equal sum and then select the cells where you want to add your data, right? Do that. And then you'll say, oh, $327. Again, not relevant. If you want to use the multiplication formula, it's equal, select the length of stay, which in this case is 2, right? Then multiply it by the cost per night, which in this case is $115. It's pretty consistent going down if you stay for 2 nights. If you were to go down the spreadsheet, you'd see 2 nights is about $115, 3 nights is $110, and then it goes down. As you stay longer, it gets cheaper. Pretty standard setup. So going back to the formula here, right? So let me just take a step back. You have 2 for the length of stay, and then you hold Shift 8 for the asterisk symbol, and then you're going to select the number of nights that someone is staying. When you hit enter, pretty simple math, right? 100 2 times is 200, 2 times 15 is 30, so 200 plus 30, your total cost here, right? $230. So that's the multiplication formula. Again, equals, select the cells that you want to include, and do not forget to put in the asterisk. That is important. Otherwise, your formula will not work. So instead of doing that again manually for each of the rest of these, you can simply click here and notice that it's kind of a white cross or plus sign when you're away from the cell. If you go to the bottom right, it's going to get smaller and then change over to a black one. All you have to do is click there, that changes, and just drag all the way down. Okay. And you'll see if we go down here that the same total cost formula is applied, right? So you just repeat the step. You do not need to write in a new formula here necessarily. You could if you wanted, but save yourself the time and potential frustration, particularly if you're newer at this, and just double click, and voila. Goes too fast, I'll show you again. It's a white cross, click in the cell, and wait for it to switch over. There you go, and just double click. And that applies the formula all the way down the table. You can even double check here and see that it's E28, E, then 28, and times F28, okay? And the numbers check out. So that's a way to save a few more seconds. So you now learned the emergence center and the click and drag, I'll call it, or double click in the bottom of the cell to apply the formula all the way down. What if we have missing data? Well, we kind of just figured that out, right? So if we were to go back here and we still had these missing, let's just take these out for the sake of discussion, then all you do is just apply the formula, and particularly if you have the formula written already, do not drive yourself crazy trying to remember what exactly goes where or what adds up to what. Just double click. Simply done. Okay. So you know what to do with your data is missing, and believe it or not, we just figured out how to update the total cost column. Now, we do not have, and we'll do as a final step, is the total revenue that we have over this period of time. So I'll show you how to do that in just a sec, but again, the formula for calculating total cost is going to be equal, then put in the cells that you want impacted or included in your formula, and then just hit enter. Simple. So let's find out how much revenue this hotel has made over the 30 plus days it's been open, almost 39 days that it's been open. Pardon me, more than that. You can do this a couple ways. So as you can see, I highlighted all the cells, and then the sigma sign over here, if you just hover over it, it says sum, then this magical number pops down at the bottom. And like I said before, when you have these thatch marks, just double click, and then it will give you your total. All right. So it's a pretty good start to the year, I would think. I don't know where it's located, but $17,000 in under 45 days seems like decent for a place that has people staying for 2 nights most of the time, and then occasionally someone like Theo Walcott who's going to stay for a full 2 weeks, right? So for the sake of completeness, we'll say, call that the total. If you want to format that properly. So that's it. Thanks for tuning in. And again, make sure that you like and subscribe.